Hey guys, today is going to be the first video of the day of this new podcast. It's going to be Disney Talk. That's basically what the title is going to be. It's about the Disneyland parks and basically the news and updates about the Disneyland parks, at least for somebody that hasn't been going to Disneyland since 2022. So, yeah. But I have been keeping up with the Disney parks a lot, especially through Twitter, Instagram, etc. But I do want to go to the Disneyland parks, right? Probably this year I probably will go. But I wanted to bring up this Disney Talk and Disneyland Talk because Disneyland. Sorry. The new Tiana's Bayou ride has officially been released on YouTube, but not opened. At least I don't know. But it has not been opened yet, as of right now that I know of. But they did put out a new video through the Disneyland Park YouTube channel. They officially put a POV of that ride. I just watched it about like 2 hours ago. So it's not just now, but it's just today, 2 hours ago. And that ride, man, that ride is very disappointing. So if you guys don't remember, the reasons why this ride is replacing Splash Mountain is because the whole thing back in 2021 and 2022 is probably still going on to this day, because of the whole being political thing. I don't want to say the R word. I don't know what YouTube's rules and guidances are, but the whole situation with that movie and Disney's talk about it, I feel like that ride should not be touched because of that movie. Because I'm going to be 100% honest with you, at least 80% of the people that just now heard of this movie has never even watched it. And they probably have, maybe just on YouTube Shorts or anything like that. But to be 100% honest with you, not even me, that was born in 1998, has not even seen this movie. And I've watched Fox and the Hound. I've watched Bambi. I've watched, what is it called? The Rescuers. I've watched so many Disney classics. Even Pete's Dragon at the time. The older one, not the newer one. I've watched a lot of Disney classics, minus that one. And the original Disney cartoons. Yes, the Mickey Mouse with the really, I don't want to say the word, but, when he has the thing. Yes, I've seen all of those videos. Shoot, Looney Tunes has it, and nobody said anything about it. Tom and Jerry. So it's just, I don't know. I'm not gonna make it a whole big deal, but that's pretty much what it is. And I feel like almost 80% of the people, and especially in Disney's part, shouldn't have really done anything with it. But this is what the end result is, and it just shows pure laziness because the whole ride is visually unappealing. And I'm trying to make this as most delightful first episode, but the first impressions of that ride, at least the POV shot, it just looks so damn boring, bro. Like, how did we get from the zippity doo to a happy song and have the wonderful visuals? Maybe it's just because it was shot at night. That's probably what it was. But we needed like a daytime version of that, because honestly, even the nighttime was just, they had a couple of lights. That was really it. Like spotlights or the colored lights or whatever. And just like the first, okay, so if you remember Splash Mountain, I do remember like the layout being, go up this little like uphill, and you kind of go around, and it's just, there's really nothing there. And there's like a sign, literally a sign when you go on like the second uphill. Is just a sign of just vegetables being made for gumbo. That's really it, which is really odd. It's like there's usually like an animatronic right there or something like that, or you get a visual scene of like the whole drop, the suspense. But no, it's just a big old wooden. I don't know if it's real wood, but a wooden wall right there, just showing a recipe of gumbo or something like that. I don't know. It's really really dumb. So, but when you go on the second uplift or uphill. So, go around, blah, blah, blah. You go up the wooden shack uphill. Tiana's right there. She does her thing, blah, blah, blah. The Tiana animatronic, blah, blah, blah. And it's just her right there. There's no Louie or anything like that. the crocodile. So you go up there, blah blah blah, and then you hear Mama Odie, blah blah blah. Then you go through um, the little animatronic area. Now they didn't use the America Sings animatronics. They just made new animal animatronics, which they look really cool. I gotta admit. But now it makes me think, like, what the heck did they do with the America Sings animatronics? So, I don't know. And not only that, that whole section, if you remember that dark section in the original Splash Mountain, there was a lot more animatronics in that section than in this one. This one, there was, at least by the video shots that they gave us, because they didn't give us a whole lot of video shots. But a lot of people said that this ride was very, very empty. And I feel like it is. That's probably why they only showed like a couple scenes in that part, which is very, very empty. I agree. It's really, really empty because there's only like, at least by far that I memorized, it was Louie, Tiana, like 3 animals that were doing like the band type of thing, and then there was like another shot on the left hand side. It was the same animatronics but just in different orientation. Then it was Mama Odie, where she shrinks you, and then you go down. That's like the first downhill type of thing. I'm trying to like memorize this by like Splash Mountain layout, so it probably is the same layout, but I'm just kind of trying to remember because I haven't been on that ride in forever. But you're going down that like hill, whatever. You're shrunken down to, I'm assuming, a frog because it cut out that part, which for some dumb reason. So you do get shrunken down. You meet this like Alice in Wonderland type of section, and then you meet like a couple like other animatronics, and it's like a frog and like some other animal I can't freaking remember. Excuse my language, by the way. Freaking, I'm not saying the F word. Freaking, whatever the other animatronics are. Then you end up going the uplift, the final uplift, which is the final drop. Mama Odie greets you with that little like mural hole thing through a wooden thing. Just Mama Odie and the snake saying that, oh, like, you know, you better be prepared, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, she's laughing, whatever. You go up this uplift. Literally I remember that whole section going up the uplift was just an animatronic right there, you know, showing like suspense and stuff like that. But I feel like in this ride in particular, it's not going to give like suspense or anything like that. It's just kind of like, oh, like, you know, gives you like a happy doo-dah day or whatever. But Mama Odie's like literally towards the end of it, just Mama Odie animatronic right there. You can't even barely see it, and you just go down, and that's really it. And then the end of the ride, and it's just maybe a handful of animatronics towards the end, and that's it. It's just like, what? So I'm trying to like give you a summarize of what that whole video was, and that was the summary. It was really quick. That's pretty much how it was. And I know like some people are gonna say like, what did you expect though? They just reskinned it. I understand, but it has possibly the twice less effects and animatronics than it did before. Not only that, it was not even an interesting story in that matter. It was kind of just like, oh yeah, Tiana is looking for ingredients for something for a restaurant. It doesn't even sound like appealing for a water ride, you know? Like, maybe have the doctor, I forgot what his name is, but the main villain in Princess and the Frog, like, I don't know, make something up. I'm just going to throw something out there. Like, make it where Tiana's trying to look for the recipes, yes, sure, but he turns her into a frog just randomly, you know? He randomly comes out of nowhere. The shadow version of him, like he finally comes out of the underground or the underworld. He changes her to a frog, like sneakily. Then you got to follow her to still try to find the recipe, but also try to put her back into a human. And I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Maybe this is too complicated, but have that whole little adventure. In the second part, that little area, the first little drop, have a little area, or before that a little bit, have that area, you know, like tell her, like, oh, like I'm still looking for the thing, blah, blah, blah. Still keep that, but keep her as a frog. And Louie kind of, you know, tells her, like, you know, you can't give up, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay. So then they have, like, the little scene once the first drop happens. She's like, I found the ingredient, and, like, now I got to go to Mama Odie, blah, blah, blah. And then still have that Mama Odie drop or anything like that. Have that still. And then have Tiana, you know, saying, like, oh, Mama Odie, I want to change back into a human, blah, blah, blah. She's like, okay, you know, have that little mural thing for her. and then it starts transforming her, and then the doctor or whatever is just like, oh, like it's not over yet, blah blah blah, and have that drop, and then you end up magically turning into a human. Tiana and magically turns into a human or whatever. Then have that story. I just came up with that on the top of my head, and have that story. At least that had suspense and probably more story than that. To be honest with you, that's just throwing it out there, but it was awful. And I usually love Disney park attractions and rides, but this is just the one ride where it's just like, why? There was like so many things, and I'm gonna put this out here because I did see it on the Disney Park Instagram like a while back when they announced this for replacing it. What I was thinking remember in the Pirates of the Caribbean when you exit out of the Blue Bayou, that little like weird alleyway or little cul-de-sac area, have that area turn into Tiana's ride or attraction or whatever the heck you want to make it into. Have that back area, I know it's kind of like out of the way, but have the entrance go through right next to the Haunted Mansion. Have the area, or either that kind of like next to the restaurant of that the New Orleans restaurant, I forget what it's called, but it's not the Blue Bayou, it's the one next door to it. Have like an entrance right there around, and then have the exit through the same exit as Pirates of the Caribbean. Then you could have like a Tiana's ride, but I don't know. There's like a whole lot of area that they could have used instead of just reskinning a ride, lazily reskinning a ride, and kind of just passing it on. It's just like, oh my god. And this is also where it gets to the point where it's kind of a cheap shot. But I recently just saw within that same time period when I was watching that video, I was also watching a video of Peter Pan's Adventure to Neverland or something like that in Tokyo. And this kind of sparked an idea because I remember watching this movie, Peter Pan and Wendy, that was on Disney Plus, that released only on Disney Plus. And I remember seeing this movie when it came out on my birthday, by the way, or I think it came out September 6th. But it came out like a couple days before my birthday, or maybe on my birthday. I don't remember. It was like the 6th or 8th or 7th. I don't remember. It was one of those 3 days. But I remember. I thought I just heard somebody scream. But I remember seeing this movie when it came out. I literally saw it day one because I had my notifications on. Immediately put on the movie. I've watched it for a whole, I think it was like an hour and a half or maybe close to 2 hours. I don't remember because I only watched it once. That movie was so bad. I don't even want to remember that movie. I don't remember anything about that movie. That's how bad it was. And it was really short because there was a lot of garbage that was thrown in that movie. It kind of just made me like eye roll the whole way. If you guys want to hear about the discussion of that movie, I'll probably try to rewatch it again. We could discuss about it in the next podcast episode. But let me know in the comments down below. Please leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, that movie was really garbage. But then, okay, so going back to the Peter Pan ride that I said in Tokyo, that ride has been excellently mated, which doesn't make any sense to me to the Tiana's Bayou, because everything that's happening in Japan and China and stuff like that, because I think it's the Zootopia ride is happening in Shanghai or Tokyo, I don't remember. But those rides over there in the east side of the world have amazing rides. So I want to go to the Peter Pan ride mostly because the animation of that ride, because it's mostly just screens, there's no animatronics or anything like that. So at least by far the video that I saw, it was like a 3D motion ride. You're in like a little box car or something like that, like the Universal ride Transformers, the 3D ride. It's just a little box, a little boat shaped one. It's like made out of like ship parts, like wreckage of a ship or pirate ship, sorry. And you're in just a little like box car, and you have the 3D glasses on, and it usually just brings you to a different scene, rotates a little bit, or maybe it doesn't, I don't know. As far as like the cameraman, man, he was like holding that camera like pretty straight on. So yeah, so it might move you a little bit, brings you to different scenes and stuff like that, maybe lift you up a little bit. But it's mostly one of those rides that kind of gyrate a little bit and lift you up maybe a little bit and do that type of thing. But that's pretty much the ride concept of it. but the screen thing, so like the screen animations and stuff like that for the characters, was a whole new animation of Peter Pan, the original Peter Pan back in 1980 something. I can't remember, but the original Peter Pan cartoon animated movie was being remade in a 3D animation Zootopia style with the new face animation, and I was just like, wow, how come I never heard about this ride? I don't know how old this ride was, but I was just like, why do we not get this as the movie? Like, come on. Like, oh my goodness, it looks so good. I'm going to show you a picture right now. And, okay, I want to mark it right now. This is like a picture. This is basically the only screenshot that I took. Disney, do not take this down. It's only one picture. But it's in Japanese, so I'm not gonna like obviously give you like a whole like video or something like that. But look it up on YouTube. It's on, at least the video that I watched it through was Attractions 360. So but yeah, that animation on that ride and just that ride in general, because the whole facade and the whole queue line and everything. Oh my gosh! Even in the opening, so I know like they'll give you like a certain amount of group. They could be in this room, and they close the doors, and it's just a little like scene, you know, whatever. It shows like the Lost Boys and their new 3D animated versions of themselves, and they show Peter Pan, and oh my goodness, dude, it looks so good. I know possibly like a lot of like Disney podcasters probably talk about this. Maybe not. This is my first experience of this video because I've never seen it. I never even heard of this ride because I was like, oh, because I remember like every like Disney land or Disney area would always have the same Peter Pan's Flight type of ride, but I never seen this ride before. So I was like, oh my gosh, and I kind of want to rewatch it again because how pretty it looks. And just like, how do we get a live action cruddy movie, and we got that in a ride? Imagine that. And I know Disney probably wanted to stay away from the original Peter Pan story because the whole Native American thing or whatever, which honestly wasn't really that long, but whatever. If you guys wanted to really remake the movie, you should have done it that way and removed the Native American thing or whatever. You could have just done something else, maybe more pirate scenes, maybe more of a one-on-one Captain Hook, Peter Pan type of thing. I'm just saying, dude, like that whole animation, I'm running out of breath, sorry. The whole animation of that ride, it was just so like, wow. Like, dude, it was just so good. And I'm telling you this right now, I've never been so like, whoa. Like, for a Disney classic movie that's been 3D animated, that in particular way was just like, dude, why didn't we get this? Why? Disney, why did we not get that? And I was just like, oh my God. Again, I'm going to show you a picture again so you guys can see it again. But oh my goodness, dude. Disney, take that animated 3D character or whatever, put it in a movie. Like, please. Like, how did this ride, I know I'm going to be a little bit cheap shot on here, but how did this ride go under my radar? But then Tiana's Bayou is just lazily putting different animatronics in a different audio sound. Look less intimidating to that. I know this is in Japan and Tokyo because usually their facades are way better. But how did you lazily just kind of just, yeah, you know, I want to put a little bit of animatronics and have you a different sound, and there you go. You know, that's the reskin. But come on, bro. Like, I'm not saying add the screens or anything like that, like the screens for the ride. I'm saying, how did, like, that look so immaculate to this? Like, huh? Like, I know that it's a reskin, but you just, lazily put different animatronics and less animatronics in that matter into a reskin when you already had technically half built. You should have just kept the American scenes animatronics towards the end and maybe a couple of them. Maybe change their outfits or something like that. Maybe it's just because the animatronics were old, but there was less animatronics than there was before. And the whole ride is already kind of unappealing, and the story is kind of unappealing already. So it's just kind of like, oh, like how did you lazily? And the Peter Pan ride doesn't even have like a good story. It's kind of just a half baked version of the original Peter Pan movie, but it's its own version. So it's just kind of like, huh? Like, how do we get that? It's a half baked version of the Peter Pan movie and a ride that has a newer animation, but then you get Tiana's Bayou was just a reskin and put a different bunch of animatronics in different orientation and less in that matter, and we got that in the east side of the world. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, what happened? And it kind of sparked the idea of, Disney, come on. Give me the 3D animated Peter Pan, put it in America, make it a movie, I don't know, maybe make it a Disney short or something like that. Just to show, like, we can do it, we could possibly do it, but, we kind of want to test out the waters, like how Popeye was for the 3D animation movie that they were going to release back then. Not Disney, but it was a Popeye movie, a 3D animated Popeye movie that was like years and years in development, but just canceled, I guess, or shelved. But Disney, come on. I just saw that. Again, photo again. So I'm only going to show this the last time I'm going to show you. But yeah, man. Hopefully I'll be able to put up the photo. If not, then I'm sorry. But, dude, how did we get from that to that? Or I'll put it as the thumbnail. Sorry, I won't do the whole, like, pop-ins and stuff like that. I'll put it as the thumbnail or something like that. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. Sorry. But yeah, how did we get from that ride to this? Because I'm also going to bring up to the Frozen ride in Disney World, which that was just like, it's amazing too, because it's screens and animatronics. There's a less amount of animatronics in that ride, and it still looks immaculate. And that's a reskin of, I forget what it's called. Can't remember, but it's like the Norse mythology type of ride. I forgot it's like Norse Storm something, I can't remember. But it's that ride that's been reskinned for Frozen, and it has less animatronics, but it still has the relative close to Frozen movie. But it was still entertainingly good. It was still different. It was like they used the attributes of that ride in the correct orientation. Now, what I said earlier about the Tiana's Bayou and the story, and I just gave you a free idea, Disney, but have that have a little bit attributes. Like, it has to have suspense. Not just like, oh, it's just, happy the whole time, blah, 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 and then just kind of just like, that's really it. Like, there was really no, like, suspense. There was no, like, twists or anything like that. It was just like, no, it's just happy the whole time. And I remember discreetly in Princess and the Frog, there was not a whole lot of, like, happy and go-lucky stuff. It was not super dark, but, a character died in that movie. Just saying. Or a couple people died in that movie. Just saying, But, man, dude. That's just, I would say that this is I don't want to say this, like, at all, but this is the definition of, like, the laziest on-put thing. And I did see a lot of comments, and oh my goodness, the Disney parks comments are going to be disabled after this, because it's not a whole lot of rude things they're saying this, but I know Disney likes to disable comments like this, but they don't like negativity on their rides that they've worked on, at least by far that I know of. But this ride has gotten so much hate because how empty it is, how boring the story is. Not even like the visual lighting is even appealing. Like, even at night, because they're shooting this at night, or at least kind of in the evening, it was not even like appealing. I don't even know if they're done with the ride, but it's just so empty. Like there's nothing you could visually like be appealed to. What like the lights and that's really it. Maybe the animatronics itself because it's a newer animatronic. But like we've seen thousands of animatronics that have been used. It's always those new animatronics. By the way, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the animatronics that they've been using, at least by far that I know of, it's a newer version of an animatronic. They have like the, at least I need to rewatch this. I think it's the actual mechanical ones with the eyes, or it's the computer screen eyes, and it's a newer form of an animatronic. I think that's what it was. I can't remember because it was only like a 9-minute video, and I was paying attention to the ride layout and the whole ride sequence instead of the animatronics. I need to rewatch it, but it's just really like, oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was just awful. I don't understand. And somebody did say that it was giving them because it was happy-go-lucky. It was getting ready to celebrate the people of New Orleans or something like that. It was more giving them a superstar limo because you had to run in time. So basically, this whole premise of this ride is you got to hurry up and help Tiana find recipes for the celebration. So it's kind of like Superstar Limo, where it's where the Monsters Inc. ride in California Adventure. That's where the Superstar Limo was. You have to hurry up to get to the movie set or movie premiere or something like that. So it's kind of like this relatively the same thing. That means that Disney kind of just lazily kind of like slipped under the stuff that, gave us the good parts and kind of gave us the bad parts that they took out under the rug. So it was kind of like, oh man, dude, it does. Like now I kind of like think of it, it's just like, man, it does. Like even the ride feels like it's half-assed, or sorry, half-baked. Excuse my language, half-baked in that matter, because it was just, man. If you guys haven't seen the video, go watch the video first. But I usually love Disneyland, and I love what they do with the parks and stuff like that. But there's like so many things that they just, no, dude, like come on. There's no reason to change it because bad history. Because in general, I know like the ride needed to be changed regardless, but it didn't need to be changed this way. It didn't need to be lazily changed like this. Like maybe instead of being Tiana's Bayou, it could have been. I'm trying to think of like another Disney IP that they could have used. They could have used like Disney Encanto or Coco, or another wouldn't make any sense actually. That really wouldn't make sense. I guess Tiana's Bayou, I guess, but just made it different. Like it's. I can't really think of it in the top of my head, but just there's so many Disney IPs that you could be using. Shoot, it didn't even have to be like a bayou swamp area. It could just been rechanged to. I don't know. It's because it's Critter Country, so it's right relatively close to, or it is close to Winnie the Pooh. So it could have been changed to like, I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. Fox and the Hound. I know not a lot of people like that movie or know that movie. Maybe Fox and the Hound. I know not a lot of story goes on to that. I don't know, The Rescuers, something, throw something out there that's relevant. Because I don't even remember, like, people really bringing up Princess and the Frog that very much. So, and they still even haven't made a sequel to that movie, at least I don't think. But yeah. So, I guess, whatever, just very, very lazy. Also, I do have, like, a random, like, thing I wanted to bring up, too. I'll go back to that. But, here's, like, a random Mandela effect thing. Do you guys remember back in Tomorrowland? I want to say back in 2005, somewhere in there. And I was pretty young, too. So, I think it was 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. I know I was pretty young. Do you guys remember that satellite thing that was in the middle of Tomorrowland? That big bronze satellite? I don't know if it's still there anymore. But there used to be a big bronze satellite that would rotate, move little, like, satellites that would move with it. They would go up and down, up and down, up and down. It was part of Rocket Roadsters. If you guys remember that top pillar track area that used to be the People Mover. And then it used to be Rocket Roadsters, and now it's kind of just there. But that big satellite used to rotate after every single hour, and it would do like a little satellite show. I did see it on Disney or on YouTube, and because here's the Mandela effect part. So I remember that thing rotating in circles, and it would just like kind of like it would do like the random sound. It would literally cover the whole part of Tomorrowland with that sound, and it was really cool because it'd get people like, "What the heck is going on?" You know, like what's going on. But then people would see the thing rotating, and I remember the bigger satellite would open its thing, and it would shoot up like a beam in a specific part of the time zones. So you have like 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, blah 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 blah. And I remember it like rotating every single hour and shooting out a beam of light. I don't remember if that was true or was just a Mandela effect or something like that, but I remember discreetly it would shoot at a beam. And I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing that my 8-year-old, 6-year-old mind came up with. But I remember that satellite shooting like, it wasn't like a laser or anything like that, but it would shoot like a, and it would just go like that for a good like maybe 5 minutes or so, and it would shut down and the whole thing would close. And it would pretty much tell you the time of day. So it'd be like, oh, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, or 10 in the morning. It'd just be random. So it's like it's a small world clock. So even though that clock is like very, very off sometimes. So yeah, it's a random Mandela effect thing. If you guys never like heard of that, or if anybody remembers that, please leave it in the comments down below, because man, dude, like I feel like I'm just tripping. I could have sworn that specific thing did that. I could have sworn, but maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm just tripping. I could have sworn that it did shoot like a little beam for a little while, and they stopped doing it because like I guess it was a hazard for planes or something like that. But yeah, I remember that. That was really, really cool. But yeah, going back to Tiana's Bayou, that was just it was just really, really bad. And I'm not saying it's like horrible, like this ride wouldn't do so well, but it's kind of just like, dang, like they just lazily like reskin this, and not in a good way. So and I seen some lazy reskins of like they putting in together. Obviously the Star Tours ride, it was lazily like reskinned. It just changed the episodes of it, but at least you gave you something new to ride. But Tiana's Bayou is just basically Splash Mountain minus Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear. Take out all the original animatronics, put like newer animatronics, new sound, but put less animatronics that they did before, and the whole story is kind of just dulled down to the bone. Like it's just plain and simple, and it's like it's supposed to be happy the whole way. And this is a ride where you go down a giant hill, and you're supposed to be happy through that whole time. So it's just like, oh man, like okay, whatever. I'm not Disney, but like still, it's kind of just like, dang, like that just doesn't sit right with me, But whatever, that's the ride needed to be changed. I agree. Maybe to something relevant, but it's just like, dang, like yeah, like not like this though. Not like this. I feel like it should be changed a little bit more. Like give it a little bit more time to like be cooked a little bit. Like let them cook a little bit more instead of just kind of like, yeah, we just put like a couple of animatronics and put them in a different orientation, and it's only like a handful of them in certain sections, and then change the sound to the ride and change a little bit of the facade. Because I can guarantee you that probably the queue is relatively the same thing, and that's pretty much it. Like it's literally just the same damn thing. Maybe like the cave area. I know in the queue, like you go like to the wooden shack, blah blah blah, and you go through like these caverns or something like that, or the hill or inside the mountain. They're probably gonna put like plant facades and stuff like that in there. But the whole queue, I know for sure, is gonna be relatively the same, obviously, because it's a reskin. But I know for sure they're just gonna make it swampy or more like Princess and the Frog type of thing. But dude, Oh my god, the queue better be good though. The queue better be good, because if people are just gonna see like the same thing that they did for Splash Mountain, not change a thing, it's like dang, like okay, all right, Disney, you gotta start doing the easy way out, because you guys are honestly like throwing it away. But whatever, I no hate to Disney. But whoever gave the AOK idea to have that, I know it wasn't Bob Iger. I know for sure. A lot of people don't like Bob Iger, but you got to remember too, Bob Iger. Oh, that man, dude. He did some good things and he also did some bad things. But okay, it was better than I can't remember. Was it Bob Iger? No. It was the guy that made Superstar Limo. Basically, made Disney's California Adventure be a thing. There was the Superstar Limo. I can't remember what the president of Disney was, or as the president of Disney Parks, and I can't remember. Yeah, he said it was an A-OK ride. It was better than that guy. Bob Iger is way better than that guy. I can't remember on the top of my head anymore now. I'm sorry. Like, I'm so hooked up on the fact that Disney lazily made Tiana's Bayou, released it, and thought this was okay to pass on. It was like, dang, like that's where your idea went. Is just not really changing a damn thing and just kind of just add a new couple. It's basically, this is what basically it is. They didn't give it a new wash or a new clean of the ride. They basically just gave it a new coat of paint. It's just like, what? It's really it. Like, and they over advertised this ride a lot, and I mean a lot, on their Instagram, Twitter, and sometimes on their commercials too, because they would say like, "Oh, there's a new ride coming up," blah blah blah, But now it kind of just like, well, like, it's not as hype as the Star Wars land, obviously, because it was a new land, but it was just like, dang, like, I can imagine when this ride gets grand opening, and you start like saying like, oh, like this new ride, blah blah, like, I want to see this gonna last for about a year or two, and it's gonna be like, dang, like this ride does suck. It will. But whatever. There's a lot that's going on in that ride. So yeah, I don't know, but Disney, please bring back that Peter Pan 3D animation. Like, please put that in America. Put that in English. Somehow get the same voice actor. I know he's probably dead already, but like, figure out something. I don't know. But whatever, like, make it a short. Make it a 3D short. Fine. Make it like Bao or something like that. Do something with that animation, not just for a ride. Like, you can do it. You physically showed us you can do it. So why not do it? So I don't know. Like, it just looks so good. Like, why would you show this and then give us this? Like, it just like, huh? It's like giving us a brand new pretty pony and giving us a donkey. It's like, what the fuck? Or sorry, what the frick? Sorry, but oh my goodness, dude. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold my tongue and stop saying cuss words. I'm sorry, but what the fudge? What the freak? Like, oh my goodness. Like, what happened? Why is overseas, Tokyo, Europe, China, or Shanghai, sorry, my bad. I think that's it. I think it's all the three. So it's China, Japan, Europe, or France. I think that's it. I think there's another like Disney park that's in the east side of the world. Can't remember in the top of my head, so please forgive me. I think there's probably one more, but it's the three. Because there's only two in America. There's only Walt Disney World. It's Disney Magic Kingdom, Epcot. It's like movie studios. I can't fucking remember. It's like, I know it was like MGM Studios back then, but I can't remember what the word was, or the newer thing, whatever it's called. So yeah, it was like Epcot, Magic Kingdom, MGM Studios. That's what I called it. Oh, and Animal Kingdom. There's four of them in Disney World. So I remember Disney World, Disneyland, and that was it. I know they had like a Disney like island where they had like slip and slides and stuff like that, or slides like not Soak City, but they shut it down and it got abandoned, and then ended up going to a different island or something like that, and they made a new one. So I know there was like another park or something like that, but I think that's all like the Disney related parks that I know of. I think there's like one more. I feel like I'm missing a park. It's just not coming into my head. Those are the parks that I know that exist in this world right now. Is Disneyland, California Adventure. Well, I count Disneyland or California Adventure as Disneyland because it's just a two-parter. So Disneyland and California Adventure, I'll just say that. Disney World, which is MGM Studios. I forget what it's called. Hollywood Studios. That's what it is. Hollywood Studios, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and Animal Kingdom. And then we got Shanghai Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland Sea, and I think it's like Tokyo Disneyland. Or no, sorry, take that back. Tokyo Disneyland Sea and Tokyo Disneyland or Magic Kingdom or something like that. I think there's like a two-part to that. And then Disney Euro Disneyland or Disney France. So there's like a good amount of parks. So it's like Disneyland, about like 6, 5. Wait, no, Disneyland, Adventure, or like 7 parks, 7, 8 parks, something like that. I'm retarded. I can't count. I'm sorry. I'm so bad. I'm just like Disney. You got like 7, 8 parks right now that are open. You had the Avatar thing because the not Avatar the Last Airbender, but Avatar, the James Cameron Avatar. You have like a floating island thing that looks really, really cool, but then you go to Tiana's Bayou in California and you're just like, what? Like, how did we get Cars Land and Star Wars Land looking really cool, and then we get this? It's just like, dude, like, what? What is it? Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout? That was a better reskin and a better story than this. And that's in the same area. That's like across from each other. So how did we get Tiana's Bayou? I'm just bagging on this ride so much. I'm sorry, but you guys reskinned a good amount of rides and did this. And there's like more rides that, and now I'm thinking of it too. There's a lot more rides that are probably gonna get reskinned for this generation that now I'm thinking of. Because I know Peter Pan's Flight is not going to be reskinned, at least for a while. Pinocchio is definitely not going to get reskinned because why? Maybe to the new movie, possibly. Well, that movie came out like a couple of years ago, so. But maybe, I don't know. Probably not the princesses because I never really liked the live action ones that much. But, I mean, some people do. But I kind of do a little bit. But yeah, obviously they're not going to change Snow White's ride. Maybe Mr. Toad. I hope they don't touch that ride because I've actually never been on that ride. Because for some dumb reason, that ride has always been at least 3 hours long. Please put fast passes in those rides. For the love of goodness, at least the last time I went on those rides, there was no fast pass or genie lane or anything like that. Just please have those type of things or... Dang, dude, like, I have never been on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride ever in my life, but I've seen videos of it, and it looks so fun to go on it. That's the only ride I have never been on at Disneyland, because I have also never been on Casey Jr.'s ride, but I did go to on my last trip there, which is my birthday for my 22nd and 23rd birthday, and I'm 26 this year. I'm going to be 26 this year, so that's 3 years ago. I believe it was like 4 years ago. And that was my first time ever being on the Casey Jr. ride. It was actually not that bad. My parents never really wanted to take me on that ride, which I never understood why, but it's just a little quick trip of Casey Jr. It wasn't that bad. It was, it was more for kids, obviously, but it was not that bad. You know, like you get a little ride. I mean, it was better than Storybook Ride because they keep changing it every single time. It's kind of like the baby version of Jungle Cruise. And it's not really worth the long ass line because usually that ride would be like maybe an hour or two, and it's not really worth it for literally a 5-minute ride. It's kind of just like, oh yeah, here's like Pinocchio's house, here's Anna and Elsa's castle, and blah blah blah. And it was just like, dang, like that's really it. But Jungle Cruise is worth it because it has a really long queue line area, and the ride is only like 10-20 minutes possibly, depending how long your skipper is willing to pop out more jokes. So I have met a lot of skippers. That's what the character's name, the operator or whatever is called, a skipper. They usually take their time in putting out jokes because I recommend this. Go to Jungle Cruise, ride at night, because I can guarantee you that the ride will be longer because they can pop out more jokes. During the day, they kind of like half baked it and like, oh yeah, we'll pop in a couple of jokes and then go through the ride like really quick. So I recommend doing this at night because it just seems more fitting. So that's a recommendation, by the way, by me. I do it during the day, but doing at night, I feel like Indiana Jones and Jungle Cruise are way better at night because Indiana Jones is my favorite ride. That sounds very wrong. Indiana Jones the ride is my favorite ride. So yeah, but what was I going at with this? But yeah, there's probably a decent amount of rides that are probably gonna get reskinned. I hope it's not like some of the ones that we think it is. But yeah, Mr. Toad's probably going to be the next one. I hope not. Yeah, I'm not trying to give Disney ideas, but there is some rides that do need to be remade. I want to say like the Matterhorn. The only reason why I want the Matterhorn to be changed is because the ride in general is just so uncomfortable to be on. Like, you don't even have to change the whole ride setting or anything like that, the whole scenic view and stuff like that, or the scenes or anything like that. Just change the ride vehicle itself or the track or something, because it's so unbearably to sit on that ride and not hurt your lower back and your tailbone. That's the only thing I want to change about that ride. Maybe Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, maybe to the new Lightyear movie. I don't know why people did not like that movie. I don't get it. I loved that movie. It was a really good movie. Not like, a 10 out of 10. It was like kind of an 8 out of 10 movie, but it was a new take on Buzz Lightyear, and I kind of liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't know. People just didn't like it. Yeah, I hope that they reskin that. At least reskin it once, just to see. I miss the old Disney days. I miss the old Disney park days, where they would like have, you remember that Stitch thing that happened for Disney Florida or Walt Disney World, where they put Stitch stuff on the castle, like the teepeeing and stuff like that. I wish Disneyland did that again, but they only do it seasonal. They only do it for like Christmas, Halloween, maybe 4th of July, or maybe their anniversaries and stuff like that. But other than that, it's just like, dang, like they don't do anything relatively to theme the park anymore, besides just promotions for a ride or for just those, just to be quite honest with you. I miss those days. I honestly miss those days where they would actually spend a goofy time. But maybe it's just because like a lot of hate happened back then. They just don't want to do it no more because like it's just a waste of money and people probably won't like it. But experiment, Disney. Like, honestly, experiment. Don't be scared to experiment, because shoot, like everybody's experimenting now with the whole thing going on nowadays. I'm not going to bring it up because that's not what this whole thing is about. But Disney, experiment with your visitors, your guests. Like some people might like it, some people won't. It's worth a shot of trying than not trying at all. That's what I always go by saying. It's better to try than not try at all. It's better, to, if, you tried it and it doesn't work, then fine, maybe I was wrong. But, if it did work, then dang, dude, just say, keep going. But, whatever. How long is this video? It's about an hour. So just letting you know, just in case if this video cuts out, please leave a like and subscribe if you guys want to see more episodes of this type of podcast or discussion type videos. I just like talking, I really like talking and just having a radio station type of thing. So, because I saw Smoshcast kind of doing this type of thing where they just kind of just shoot a video and stuff like that. I maybe have a couple of my friends and probably shoot out somewhere else, like maybe during at a park or something like that. Today is Sunday. Everybody's at church and hanging out with friends today. I'm just chilling today. Um, this coming weekend or this coming week, I am going to be going to several job interviews and stuff like that. So, yeah. But anyways, yeah. Please leave a like and subscribe if you guys want to hear another episode. I actually kind of want to do more of these episodes to give you updates about the parks and idea parks. I don't know, just really talk about Disney theme parks in general because I love Disney. I really, really do. And I never really show it that very much. And maybe I want to put out more of myself more often, open myself a lot on the YouTube channel because I usually don't. I usually upload music and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyways, going back to the Disney park though, yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be changed at least. Definitely not Main Street USA because that doesn't mean changed. Maybe the president's thing needs to be changed at least a little bit. I don't think anybody really goes in there. I never really see anybody go in and never go out. So I don't know if that's still in Disneyland though. Because isn't it? Okay, so when you walk in, I was like in the right hand side, unless I'm tripping. No, that's not in there. Sorry, I'm tripping. Yeah, I'm tripping. Because I remember there used to be a Hall of Presidents or something like that. Or unless that's only in Disney World. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm just really, really dumb. Sorry. Maybe I'm just really, really dumb. I'm sorry. I'm like, this conversation has been so long because the Tiana Bayou thing and the Peter Pan animation thing, man, dude, that's just like, oh my god. Like, how did you, like, I don't know how old that ride is for the Peter Pan ride. Like, goodness, Lord, like, if that ride's like at least like 2 years old or maybe a little bit longer than that, it's like, dang, dude. Like, okay. Disney, you're cheaping out right now. Okay, you're a baller on the dollar right now, huh? So yeah, but yeah, the Disney parks do some of the at least Disneyland specifically needs to. There's some things that need to be reskinned or redone in that matter. Definitely, probably not Fantasyland so much. Specifically, like okay, so I'll go for each section. Well, hopefully this will give me enough time. I try to go as fast as I can before it cuts out or anything like that because I will lose storage space. Tomorrowland keeps Buzz Lightyear, Star Tours, the Nemo ride, and Space Mountain. The two things they do want to be switched out is Star Wars Launch Bay, and it was Honey the Shrunk the Audience Theater and Captain EO Theater. Please put those movies on if you're just going to have that theater just sit there. Just have those movies rotate every single year or something like that. Just have it rotate. Have it like a seasonal, not a seasonal thing, but just have it every year, a yearly thing. So like Captain EO for a whole year, and then Honey I Shrunk the Audience a year, and then have like a different movie. I don't know, put something in there in the mix because that theater is probably just sitting there doing nothing. And it's probably just a character meet and greet area, which it's really dumb. It's just a waste of area. Now Star Wars Launch Bay, I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. Make that a Tron related thing because you did release Tron. Was it Light Cycle Adventure or something like that in Disney World in Shanghai Disneyland? Now that Star Wars Launch Bay building, it used to be Carousel of Progress, I believe, in Disneyland. But make that like a Flynn's Arcade type of thing because I know Starcade is closed for I don't know for something random. At least by far that I remember. That it's not there no more. It used to just be like an arcade area. Now it's not there. But make that a Flynn's Arcade thing. Like how you guys did back then where you guys used to show us the upcoming video games for Disney Interactive. Because Disney Infinity was there in that building. That's where like I first played Disney Infinity. And I wanted to get that game because I remember asking my parents for my birthday. That's what I wanted. But I never got it because it was too expensive. And at the time I didn't have a 360. I don't think it was on the Wii at the time. But yeah, I still kind of want to play Disney Infinity because it still looks fun today. But yeah, have Flynn's Arcade right there, or have a Light Cycle or not a Light Cycle, maybe a Light Cycle or Disc Wars. Have a VR headset because VR is like a new thing now. But have a VR headset area. They could have like a whole circle arena. Have them have a VR headset like how VR stuff happens over at the mall. It's like a VR building where they have specific parts of the rooms where you have like 4 players and they could play like, I don't know, like zombie shootout or something like that. But have Disc Wars like from Tron. Have their VR headset, have like a Tron video game type of esque type of thing, and you have a 1v1 type of situation, or a 4v4, or a 1v1v1v1, something like that. Have something very interactive with your guests, and maybe there's some areas that just needs to be updated. But yeah, Nemo, Buzz Lightyear, Space Mountain, Star Tours, they're fine there. Fantasyland, Matterhorn's fine. Maybe just update the ride a little bit more. It's a small world. It's a classic, so you can't really touch it. Maybe change the dolls though, because it is still a little bit creepy, and have a different song maybe. But it's an older ride. It doesn't really matter. It's just my personal preference. Mr. Toad Wild Ride, please don't move that. But if you do, fine. Alice in Wonderland, I think it's fine. Peter Pan's Flight, that's a classic. Pinocchio, fine. Snow White's Adventure, I think it's still there. But yeah, keep those rides. If you want to update them, fine, sure, but don't do too much to it. The Carousel, I guess keep that there because it's iconic. It's literally the Fantasyland ride because Walt Disney loved that ride, so why move it? So yeah, keep that there. Definitely keep that there. Storybook boat ride, sure, whatever. Make the queue a little bit longer though, or somehow like orient the crowds a little bit. Teacup ride, whatever the heck that ride is. Teacup spin, that's what I want to call it, but it's not that. Fine, it's a classic. That's usually like everybody's like go-to take photos type thing. Sure. Casey Jr. maybe change that ride. But I don't know because the Dumbo ride's right next to it. So I don't know. I feel like Casey Jr. is kind of just like out of the way. Because even getting into the ride, it was kind of hard to figure out what to get into anyways. At least by far that I remember. But yeah, maybe change the ride. I don't know. But yeah, change that ride a little bit. Maybe change it or maybe change it not. But Dumbo, obviously not change it at all. And now move on to Frontierland. Big Thunder Mountain, there's only like literally one ride there. Don't change it at all because you already changed it already, sort of. So that's fine. And the boats, what is it, the ferries and stuff like that? The pirate ship boat too. The ferry, I guess keep it there. Nothing really bad about that ride. It's more attraction, so it's really not that bad. And the canoes, I believe they still do the canoes and the boat to Tom Sawyer's Island. Don't change that at all. That's really cool. Maybe update the playground area because there's really not like a whole lot to do there. Especially like the playground is really really small. Even my little brothers couldn't even get in it. So yeah. But other than that, it's a really cool place to like have a hike and kind of just have a little picnic area. Maybe put some like food stuff there though. Have a little bit of food stuff. Maybe that's a little bit too much though. But maybe just have it as a picnic area. But yeah. New Orleans, nothing really changed there. Again, I want to put Tiana's ride right next to the Pirates of the Caribbean, like literally across from each other. It would have been way better. Critter Country. Winnie the Pooh, maybe just updated like versions of themselves. I don't know what, but maybe like the 3D animated versions of themselves. I don't know. Maybe just like up it a little bit. Give a little sprucing. Spring cleaning type of thing. Give it a new coat of paint. Splash Mountain, it's already changed already, so it's too late now. But it should have just kept the same, or either that, just a newer IP, but whatever. And then going to Adventureland, ending in Adventureland. Don't change the Indiana Jones stuff, but do add references to like the newer movies. Because I know Dial of Destiny came out, but I feel like what you should do is have like in treasure room towards the end of the end of the ride, especially towards the boulder scene when Indy stands at the end, have like treasure like seep out of the little thing, or have like treasures that he's like just standing on because he's standing on a treasure room. Have him stand on top of like the crystal skull, the ark. Maybe the ark is in the ride, but have the ark. Have him hold the Holy Grail and the dial. Maybe he's holding the dial in the other hand and stuff like that. He has like the treasures that he had in the past. just throw a little bit, like a little like nod, why not, because Captain Jack Sparrow's in Pirates of the Caribbean, so because before that wasn't there, it was just a gated thing and it was treasure right there, so yeah, why not, have a little like nod to the movies, but yeah, Jungle Cruise, don't ever change, don't ever touch it, ever. Don't put the Rock in there. I do not want to see the Rock in there. If you touch it, I'm gonna get mad if you touch that. But yeah. Also, they take out Aladdin's Oasis. I've never been in there before, but it's a nice little picnic spot. I did eat there once for the Dole Whip and the little bao buns or whatever. Not bad. I did have one that was kind of gross though. I got like multiple of them. There was one that was really gross and it came with butternut squash. I just found out that I don't like butternut squash. But yeah. The Tiki Room. Sorry. Ice cream truck. The Tiki Room does not need to be changed. Sorry, I was going to hold the anticipation. Tiki Room does not need to be changed. If you change it, I will fight somebody. I would tell you this right now. I will fight somebody if somebody ends up doing that. And if somebody disagrees with me, you're not a real Disney fan. I'm sorry. But the Tiki Room is literally the first animatronic attraction in Disneyland that Walt Disney actually legitimately loved doing. And, or at least by far that I know of, he's legitimately, that was the first legit animatronics, set of animatronics. And specifically, till this day, they are not that bad. And I know, like, you can hear, like, the little beats going, whatever. But it's still nice to visually, and not only that, that's probably, like, the best place for air conditioning ever. So, especially the Pineapple Dole Whip area, dude. Like, come on. You cannot hate the Tiki Room. It's just, it's so good. But please give us, like, a better... Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I'm dumb. No, because you exit through the attraction the other way. Sorry, I'm dumb. I was like, wait, how do you exit out of the attraction? I was like, oh yeah, you go through the porch area. I'm dumb. Sorry. But yeah, just throwing it out there, Nothing really used to be changed in that park that much though. There is like a lot of stuff that probably needs to be changed, or at least be expanded on. There's a lot of room in that area. Specifically this area, if you guys don't remember the gummy bear boat adventure thing, it's hidden in Fantasyland, between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. It's around, it's kind of hidden though. So it's where the Nemo submarine ride, and you see like this weird like port area, and it's just usually where benches, that used to be a smoking area. I don't know if it is anymore, but that's where people usually sit and eat or smoke, but have the area like taken down or something, because I know that's like the monorail area, like the pillars and stuff like that, but have something different. I don't know, maybe have like those boat things, like the swan boats, just go it up and down, something, I don't know, put something there, have a scenic view, have like a romantic spot to put into, like, take photos and stuff like that. I don't know, just throwing something out there. You don't have to, but just throwing it out there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing dice for Disney, because and Toontown, that's perfect. They fixed Toontown. Nothing to change there. Definitely nothing to change there. I haven't been to the new Toontown, but I did hear like there's a lot more stuff there now. So I'm like, good. Now it's not just like a little plot of land that just only has 1 or 2 rides. Now it has like 3 rides, which is really nice. So yeah, because Toontown doesn't get a whole lot of love, which is weird because it is further part of the section. But anybody would willingly to go to Star Wars Land and not go to Toontown, because that was like the coolest part of the area. Maybe update Roger Rabbit's ride maybe a little bit more. Fix the, because at least the last time I remember going on that ride, the steering wheel thing, I know it makes you like spin. It doesn't do that no more. It just does it on its own. And it's not even in a good way, or at least by the times that I go on that ride, that steering wheel is just stuck all the time. So let it happen, let us control the ride, or not like direction wise, but let us spin, That's the whole point of the thing. It's called Roger Rabbit's Toon Spin, or Cartoon Spin, whatever it is. But yeah, let us have fun on that ride, Yeah, other than that, that's everything's fine in that section. Star Wars Land, there's nothing really changed there because you just made it. So maybe add more characters like Han Solo. It's a cheap shot, but shoot, why not? Shoot my shot. Put Han Solo and Princess Leia in there, and then Luke, maybe, I don't know. But, I mean, you got Rey Skywalker and Mandalorian, Kylo Ren and Darth Vader, the Stormtroopers and Boba Fett, and what's her name? Boba Fett's right hand man, or the girl. I can't remember what her name is. Sorry, I haven't seen Book of Boba Fett in a long time. Can't remember her name. But yeah, have the original trio. I know they have Chewbacca and R2, maybe C-3PO. I don't know, but have Luke, Han Solo, and Princess Leia. Why not? You already have Chewie. Like, it just makes sense. If you guys have like different time zone or time periods, then have that. It makes sense. You don't have to do it all the time. I mean, you have Rey, and like, come on, give us Luke, Han, and Princess Leia. Just saying, just putting it out there. Oh, you have BB-8, I think, right? BB-8. So, yeah, just, putting it out there. This is just a random podcast episode, but yeah, whatever. Disney, you do what you do, but honestly, do some right things. Don't do so much wrong things because it's just really, really bad. Like Tiana's Bayou, not looking so hot. It doesn't even look that good. I'm sorry to throw shade. I know you guys probably worked really hard on it. Hope you did. But if not, then shame on you. And if you're right, then shame on me. But yeah, after seeing that Peter Pan ride, I was just like, dang, like, man, they put so much work into that ride. I can't even explain to you because it looks like fun. It's in Japan, but hey, whatever. Everything in Japan is like a whole lot more immersive. See, like, what is it like? Like kawaii stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think Disney just you have to take ideas from me. But yeah, I still want the Flynn's arcade thing though. I still want that to happen. Still want Flynn's arcade or that VR headset. Even though I don't really use the VR headset thing, maybe just the Flynn's arcade. Like throw some like throw a little like throw us a bone here. With Tron. Like we know that you guys have that IP. We know that you own that IP. So use it. Like why are you throwing so much Star Wars? I know Star Wars is like the more popular one, but there's a lot of Tron lovers. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of Tron lovers. So yeah, you'd be surprised. Again, experiment with your guests, like the whole Disney park themes. Like have a different theme. Don't just like for promotion for Marvel Summer, or was it Superhero Summer time, whatever, or a seasonal theme or something like that. Don't be afraid to experiment with your Disney castles. So I'm just saying, I'm not just trying to be rough or anything like that, but experiment with your castles, experiment with your theming. It's not scared. I mean, I know I've seen you guys do it for 90s night, 80s night, Star Wars night. What is it? The Valentine's Day usually. Do it. Screw it. Why not? Maybe do an only time thing. But don't be scared to experiment with it. So far, it's been working. But yeah, like don't be scared, Disney. Like I promise you, like if you experiment a little bit more, I can guarantee you that will probably give you more attendance more than ever, to be honest with you. So don't be scared to experiment with stuff. I know that your attendance is still pretty good, but don't be scared to experiment with theming and stuff like that. I recommend that you still should do the Tron thing though. I really want to see a Tron thing happen in Tomorrowland. I'm just waiting on it and waiting on it and waiting on it. At least in Disneyland, because Disneyland is the first park, and I still feel like they should put a Tron thing in there. Maybe Tron Ares, that new Tron movie that's being worked right now. Please, something. Give us a bone here. Maybe remake the Tron arcade machine and make it an arcade in Flynn's arcade. But other than that, like what you did for Fix It Felix Jr. for Wreck It Ralph, come on, like there's so many things you guys can do in that building. But hey, I'm not trying to tell you what to do though. You know, it's just an idea, just an idea. But anyways, yeah, this is the end of this episode. If you guys like this type of stuff and content, please leave a like and subscribe. Again, I want to, like the little pop-ups or anything like that for the Peter Pan's flight, I'll make it as a thumbnail so you guys can see it. It's really cool. It's a really cool thing. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram instead because I don't know if I get copyrighted for the photo. We'll see if it ends up changing. But yeah, I was going to do a pop-up of like the photo and stuff like that, but for some reason I can't edit photos in a video, which is super, super weird. And it ends up like not showing up on time, or like I have a difficult time putting it up. But yeah, iMovie's acting all weird. So yeah. Yeah, that's the end of this episode. So see you guys next time in the next episode. I don't know scheduling for this because I don't know. Maybe I'll just do this every Sunday or something like that. I don't know because usually every Sunday I have nothing to do. So maybe it's just every Sunday so everybody can just relax and listen to Disney stuff. Mostly just Disney parks and stuff like that. But yeah, what do you guys think? Leave in the comments down below. Before you guys go, let me know in the comments down below. What did you think about the Mandela effect? I don't know if I mentioned it, but that satellite thing that's in Tomorrowland in Disneyland in California, that satellite thing that rotates, and when it opens, after it does like this little like spin thing, the animation thing or whatever, it does like music around Tomorrowland, it spins, and it shoots out like a light beam, whatever. It's not a laser beam, I don't think. Maybe it is, but it's like a laser beam that happens like every single hour or something like that. Let me know if that's, if you guys remember seeing that when you were a kid, because I honestly want to know, because not a lot of people talk about it, and it's probably like a weird Mandela effect type of thing, because I remember discreetly that it happened, but I was only like 6 years old, possibly, maybe even younger than that. Maybe my younger mind was just making up something, I don't know, but yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Please leave a like and subscribe, okay? Alrighty, bye.